Hello, this is the TradeSite U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for the week beginning Sunday, the 21st of January 2024, ending Friday the 26th. We just got through options expiration for the month already. But we had a strange rally that's unusual. We had the Wednesday was dead. Thursday we had the rally that was options unraveling. Usually you're dead on Friday, and instead we had a big up day in the markets. We'll look at this in a few minutes. Here's the dollar index daily chart. Didn't do much all week. Very narrow for 4 days. A little pop up on Monday. Still mid-range for the rest of the year. The euro dollar is the inverse of the dollar index, so there's not much here either. The pound dollar has been dead flat for 2 months now, so there's nothing there. All right. ES front month futures contract. Daily chart of the broad market futures form new highs for all time. Breaking out S&P cash also at new highs. This is the highest we've ever been on these indices. The Nasdaq 100 also at new highs, although it's getting near a 13 sell signal on the daily. But yes, new highs there. The Russell 2000 not so much. We pulled back a bit over the last week or two, so it's interesting. The bigger cap stocks are running. The smaller cap stocks are not, at a time of year when the smaller cap stocks typically run, but they're not. We're about to enter earnings season, so we'll keep an eye on that. We don't have any holidays until the President's Day in February, so we've had Christmas and New Year's, and now Martin Luther King, 3 in a row, or 3 in the last month and a half, and that's going to die down. You get 8 U.S. stock market holidays a year. 3 of them are stacked at the front of the year. Here's Bitcoin at the back end of last year plus the front of the year. Bitcoin pulled back a bit. Obviously the ETFs came out this week and the last 2 weeks, and but it's pulled back since because everybody bought up the stuff for the ETFs, and now it's retreating a bit. My guess is we're going to pull back here and then maybe bounce pretty hard on the Bitcoin thing, but we'll see what happens. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, again pulling back. So now, bonds down, rates up, as they say. So the rates have been rising again over the last month after they had settled down since October. The VIX closes the week at 1332. That's a really poor reading on the VIX. Not a lot of volatility, which is interesting because we did have a big up day on Friday. Advance decline ratio on the NASDAQ was negative most of the week, but we did have a positive day on Friday. It's not as positive as you'd think. I mean, when you look at the NASDAQ being up 300 plus points and S&P being up 50, I mean, for the advance decline ratio on the New York to only be plus 1119 is not that great. So it is what it is. But the trend closes at 1.10. The 10-day moving average is at 1.39. It's the highest it's been in a long time on that 10-day moving average. So we'll see what that leads to in the market, but that's often the signal. Here's the 10-minute candles. Again, we had a Monday holiday, so you get back into Thursday on the far left of the chart, then Friday. Monday is a holiday, so we're open for a few hours. So the real week starts Tuesday, January 16th. Small gap down, filled the gap, closed where we opened. Wednesday, small gap down, didn't do anything all day, wiggled a bit, both directions, closed where we opened. Thursday, small gap up, pulled back eventually in the afternoon to fill the gap, then rallied, and at that point, we're basically even for the entire week. That's what's interesting, right? So Thursday's close, going into options expiration on Friday, we're even for the week. You would expect not to get much, and then Friday instead, we gap up and rally like crazy. So whatever, same thing on the NASDAQ side. It's interesting, but not your usual options expiration. Apple rallied, bounced hard the last 2 days after a gap up on Thursday. Amazon near highs, Meta at highs, but just keep in mind, Meta now has a 13 sell signal in place on the daily chart. There it is right there. So that's not positive. Google at all-time highs. Goldman Sachs, nice basing action if this breaks out, would be a play for us for sure. Netflix hanging near highs, but hasn't done anything for a month. Tesla down for the last month. NVIDIA up new highs on NVIDIA. This thing just is screaming lately. Zoom curling back up and not at highs. It's basically mid-range for the last year. And First Solar, it is what it is there. Not much to say. So it's been an interesting week at best from that perspective. All right, let's take a look. Let's go back. I do want to look at here's the S&P 500 and. We're at all-time highs. I mean, what else can you say about that? it's really quite interesting to see. The jobless stuff keeps getting better. Inflation is lower, but not gone yet. Rates probably going to be heading back down at some point this year. We'll see what happens. So it's a mixed bag from that perspective. From a trading perspective, the VIX is too low to give us a lot of good volatility days, which is what we want to see. We're just not seeing that yet. But no complaints about the market being up, and there's a few stocks I can see we'll be putting some calls in. We have a big announcement coming in February. We've announced this out through social media and everywhere else. Hopefully everybody's ready to hear that. You can join our Discord channel for free and just listen to us, even though you don't get the calls. And we will make the announcement in February. But there's some cool stuff coming for TradeSight that we're very excited about. And that's it. We got earnings season coming up, so be ready for that. And we'll just have to dodge those earnings. Charts as usual brought to you by NinjaTrader. If you've not yet taken the trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. In terms of economic data coming out this week, by the way, we do have a rate announcement out of Canada on Wednesday. Not much on Monday. The Bank of Japan's got their rate announcement. Not much here in the U.S. on Monday or Tuesday or even Wednesday. Thursday, we have our initial and continuing jobless claims numbers, the advanced GDP number, durable goods, trade balance, preliminary wholesale inventories. That's all at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. New home sales at 10, natty gas at 10:30, and then personal income and spending Friday. So it's not a big week for data. But these are past options expiration to start the year. Oh, and I did want to point out this too. What we always say is, if the first 3 days of the year go in one direction, the rest of the month is usually the other direction. Well, if you look at this chart you're looking at right now in the S&P, we were down the first 3 days of January, and we have now rallied back to highs. So that story is currently holding, although I think it would surprise a lot of people because I think a lot of people thought we were going to sell off in January, and we have not. We will see you in the lab. Hope to make good money this week. Have a great trading week.